Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara. Today, Lietoc and I are joined by New York-based author and musician Austyn Wohlers. You may know Austyn's work from Tomato Flower or her work in the Kenyon Review, the Massachusetts Review, the Cincinnati Review, the Columbia Review, and Joylin, amongst others. Right now, though, Austyn is celebrating the release of her second cassette, Bodymelt in the Garden of Death, a dutiful ambient tape on Geographic North. The tapes are available on Austyn's Bandcamp, and she'll be having a release show August 31st at 7 p.m. in the Living Gallery in Brooklyn, New York, for anybody in New York that's listening right now. How's it going, Austyn?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what have you been up to? We were kind of just like chatting before we started. You've been doing some dog walking?
I have been doing some dog walking.
Wow.
I moved here and I got a puppy job. So yeah, it's this Upper West Side dog walking job. It's pretty intense. It's like a full-on gig. It's not like gig work. There's like sick days and like 6 dogs at once or like 4 dogs at once. And so yeah, I just hung out in Riverside Park all day. It was really hot, so I went home a little early.
Sick.
Yeah, you guys have been dealing with heat domes out there. Yes.
Yeah, it was 95 degrees today.
Oh, damn. That's hotter than California right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy time to move here, I guess. In the summer, people keep telling me the fall is really nice.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
So you just recently moved to New York, right?
Yeah, like less than a month ago.
What brought you to New York, or where were you before?
I was in Baltimore, and my book was going to come out in 2026, but it got moved up to 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And the band finished an album cycle, and it just felt like a good time to like kind of plug into like literary scene stuff up here and like try at a different pace.
Yeah, for sure. That's sick. So you go ahead, Maddie, what were you saying?
Oh no, it's just so out in Baltimore, like kind of what is that literary circle look like, and then what is in comparison with New York's? We don't usually talk about it. It's cool to see that.
Yeah. I think that writing is a lot more centralized than music because musicians usually want like basements and like space.
Yeah.
Tough. And it's like, so I think that like, especially in the Northeast, maybe music at this, you get like Philly and Providence and Baltimore and like places where you can kind of live a little more easily, especially if you're in like a rock band.
Uh-huh.
So there are obviously rock bands here, but I think because of the proximity to like major publishers, especially in fiction,
Uh-huh.
but honestly in poetry too, I ran a reading series for a while in Baltimore, and I was just bringing people I wanted to meet from New York down at a certain point. So it was sort of like, and like Baltimore actually has a very tight knit and very like the Baltimore writers I know are like really excellent.
Uh-huh.
Ashley Bryan Phillips, Megan Boyle, Blake Butler, like they're like very talented, like serious artists. And I think, living in a smaller place where you have sort of more like time and peace, it's more foundational to actually like making art. But in terms of like the I don't know, like social nexus of literature, it's like very it's much more centralized than music. Yeah. In New York.
Interesting.
I get what you mean. My brother does like zine making out in Richmond, Virginia. So he's having to go network out at like comic book expos and stuff for that. Cause it's hard to bring stuff out to Richmond. So yeah. I totally see that. Because we kind of opened with it early on, wanted to see what you were doing for the Bodymelt release show. The album had just come out, and then we were both, Thomas and I really loved it. Kind of just wanted to get in touch with you like immediately. But I know in like a post you had talked about it's going to be interesting to adapt because it's such like a laptop or studio based work. But how are you trying to bring it to life?
Yeah, it has always been a challenge to play this kind of stuff live because it's so just like layered and collagey. I am bringing a laptop this time, and
sick.
I've always done like a guitar, like an ambient. It's mostly guitar music. I don't know. If some people find that obvious, some people don't. So I have like an ambient guitar thing with like some like a freeze pedal, volume pedal, blah blah blah. And I'll be doing that and like a little bit of like laptop fiddling. In the past, I've tried to do it completely no laptop, and it's just like hard to replicate the like depth of the layers of sound, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And it ended up, feeling pretty tinny. So we'll try this out. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I feel like if you play a bad set, people still love you. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
Where did at least you kind of start doing works like that? Because you and then kind of acquiring like the pedals or stuff to continue it. Because I don't think I quite picked up on the guitar stuff to me, even though I was like Deer Hunter's Cryptograms is like a really strong like influence I felt over it, especially with the poppiness of it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I really, there's like a certain like type of ambient music, noise music that was coming out, especially in California in like 2006 to 2012. And
Was it like not fun stuff? Or
like it's like Yellow Swans into like Jeffrey Cantu Ledesma.
Oh, sick. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that
so,
also include then like on the edge, like some of the LSD and the Search for God stuff.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely shoegaze shoegaze in there.
Definitely have a ton of those acts and bands. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But so it's all like sort of, there's this guitar based droney stuff. And it's just like kind of like reverb, distortion, and like delay and like more computer effects. But that's sort of I kind of lost track of the question. That's the stuff that it comes out of. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's sick.
So yeah, like Jeffrey Cantu Ledesma has released on Geographic North. I've been listening to Geographic North for like, I'm from Atlanta where the label is based.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've talked to both Bobby and Farboat. I wrote a piece about their 2020 comp. So
Nice.
I get the promo emails or like whenever they do a tape, I buy it immediately. And I don't have my collection with me, but like I love running into the old releases and the new stuff has been a blast to watch. So
I mean, they're just like everything. It's just like no, and like also like to have this early series called "You Can't Hide Your Love Forever." It's just like this level of intensity I want to be making art at.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
No, like the sketches for winter stuff was really like the connections to a lot of Cranky and the clear like legacy of the sound and then the factory design. And the tape, like I don't have the tape. If I had it right now, I'd be holding it. It's so great what they've done. They're so playful.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And the art is like
their art is like the
I'm
best.
So like, I will just like put a leaf on it, like I'm so just like, it's about leaves. At first I was like, I was just like, wow, like that is not what I would have done. But I knew that he was going to do something kind of unexpected. So I wasn't expecting a leaf, But I really, really love the art and how it came out, and the design is great.
So because again, you mentioned that you're from Atlanta. Did you kind of see them coming up in the early 2010s how did you cross paths with them?
I think that, I was listening just to that kind of music independently. Like I've talked about this in other interviews, but like while writing, actually, it's like very connected to literature for me. And I think I might not have even known they were an Atlanta label for a while. I never met Bobby until like just this past tour that I went on, where after like he had already like accepted the release and stuff.
Oh wow. So
it wasn't like a thing where I had been intimately connected with them, but like maybe some Atlanta, I don't know, I have a bad memory for these things. They just sort of have been around in my consciousness,
All right.
That's sick. Were you ever, when you were in like Atlanta and stuff, were you ever like part of like the Athens scene or anything like that? Were you ever like going to experimental shows and stuff out there?
Yeah, totally. I had a little ambient duo project called Lightful Duo. We played in Athens a good bit. Wow. And I had kind of like the proto 3 of the 4 Tomato Flower members were in this band called Paradise Montage.
Sick.
And we went back and forth between Atlanta and Athens all the time. It's sort of like kind of sister scene vibes, at least at the time.
That's sick.
There was Athens and Atlanta. That makes sense.
So like what kind of, I guess like how did you get into like more experimental or like ambient type stuff as opposed to like rock music? Was it kind of like organic or how'd you fall into it?
I think I really kind of like I alluded to earlier came from writing. Because I'm very easily distracted by sounds. Like I can't read or write if there's any other language occurring. So if there's like TV in the house, it's just like. So I would like start listening to music, but kind of listen to the music lyrics, and then like if you're interested in sound already, like even it's just like chord changes. It's like too distracting, you know. So then you're listening to drone, and then you're just into drone music, I guess. So now, like when I write, I have to listen to like a sine wave, you know. And like, yeah, I think that like, yeah, I have a lot of memories of being like 17, trying to write a book, listening to the Gas records.
Oh, sick, dude.
That's really sick.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's been. I would even say like maybe even before, like at least playing rock music, I was interested in maybe making, or maybe it was concurrent. I don't know.
So when
I remember,
we'll go ahead.
No, like in high school, I would be doing a bunch of like homework assignments or stuff, and the albums I gravitated towards it was Spaceman 3's Perfect Prescription or Spirit of Eden, which had that quality of just super low level playing that was really interesting, but didn't matter as much. And over time, I kind of went towards. I remember in college, I did stuff like Gas, and now for my master stuff, it's been Keith Jarrett concerts.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's such an interesting progression or place to start with the Gas albums. They're really wonderful.
Yeah, totally. And then, yeah, I guess also like maybe an interesting link would be like, you know, like Robert Fripp stuff. So like you get like King Crimson, sick. And then you also get like Fripp and Eno, and
for
so
sure.
The whole like axis of like buzz around guitar music of like Robert Fripp is something I've always been really interested in. So.
Given we got that right up on the wall right now. Been meaning to. So hell yeah. Shout out to that.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess also, when did you start getting more into or like DIY in general? Like where did that bring you in the beginning?
Yeah, college, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Like I'd always been interested in music, but I think that, you know, a lot of my friends like started in high school.
Yeah.
I've always had a weird authority thing. So I always think like I was like, I'd love to like be in a band, but like how do you like get permission kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, like do you just show up with your guitar? Like I don't know, like it just seemed like this like thing, like I didn't know like who to ask, I guess.
Interesting. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, like if you're not really part of the community or something yet, it's like, am I allowed to do this, you know? Do I need to meet like other cool people? Like
I didn't know you just like email venue. Like I just really didn't know how it worked. I was just like, maybe someday. But then in college, I just started going to shows and stuff. My first, I think, DIY show was at the Mammal Gallery in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, legendary space. Honestly, there were lots of great Atlanta venues.
So were you in bands and stuff like pre like Tomato Flower and like the ambient stuff you were making?
I played my first show when I was 20, and it was with that ambient duo.
Nice.
That's sick.
And it was like, you know that band Woo from the UK?
Vaguely. I remember. Yeah. I think they have a Pitchfork review or something, but yeah.
Well, they're phenomenal. It's two brothers. They make this like it's like so hard to describe. It's like guitar, it's like songs, but in a kind of ambient, maybe like even sung-tongsy way. And then like it just feels like sick. There's like but it doesn't sound like sung-tongs. Like there's these weird like filters on, like there's a lot of clarinet, like some like I've like tried over the years to like mirror some of the texture of that music, and I've just never been able to. Into the Heart of Love is a great album, but they have lots of wonderful albums. Highly recommended. So that project was kind of trying to sound like that, and also like some library music stuff, like Nino Nardini. And then I didn't join my first band until it was Paradise Montage, so like Proto Tomato Flower.
Oh, sick.
And that was, we just had a different drummer, Johnny Williams, and he played an electronic kit. So it was a little more beachy, a little more bossa.
Yeah.
A little less like emo and like dissonant. And obviously with electronic drums, just had like a kind of different sound.
Nice.
That's cool.
I remember ages ago, Jake Saunders had gotten in contact with me for Tomato Flower when you guys had shown up with the first EP, and I'd loved it. That was such a great little burst. And then with the follow-up as well, got to do something on Tabs Out for that. And I know you guys back in 2022, you were opening for Animal Collective, and there's been a few other engagements you've done. What has that been like live, and kind of the development of those EPs and the new material?
Yeah. I think that the live set has gotten better. I think we were really like introverted at first. Yeah. And we were just sort of like, you know, and now I think we've tried to perform a little more, but it's interesting like seeing maybe some of our peer bands who are very like really about like a very like engaging performance. Like they're like going into the crowd or like they're looking at the crowd, and we're still like kind of introverted at heart, even though we're just kind of like all kind of dorks. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I feel like we kind of freak out on stage and internal like I feel like the live set when we talk about it is like been like trying to like perform like a mental breakdown while like playing this music, I guess. So
That's
it's got
so
a lot
funny. Yeah.
more like emotional. I don't know.
If I recall, because one of the acts you also played with is Godcaster, and I've never had a chance to see him, but from what I imagine, that's a very intensive or like big performance.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, we've toured with them. They're like dear friends of ours. Yeah, and I think that we have been like definitely inspired seeing just how, I mean, even they'll have songs where like if they're playing for like 10 minutes or something and there's a kind of like introverted like section, like everyone will sort of go to different corners, like Jan the bassist will be like against the wall, and it's this whole like staging that is so inspiring to see. I mean, they really have nailed the live performance. Yeah, we get better and better at it, I'd say, but I think that like I think like we really exhausted our current live performance this year because we've toured so much that next time we're playing live again, because we're kind of like taking it easy for a sec. Next time we're playing live again, I think we'll probably try to change it up. I don't know.
I think I'm actually going to see your band in North Carolina next week or something at the Hopscotch Festival. Are you guys playing that?
Not anymore.
Oh, you guys dropped it?
Yeah, our drummer has just started this Mike, he just started this school job and it's his first day. And so he couldn't go.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I feel that.
No, it's a shame, but we'll play again soon.
Yeah, dude. You'll have to make it out to California the next tour or something.
Definitely.
The writing, some of the stuff that we've kind of been tiptoeing around is your writing work as well. And the relationship between the music and writing is pretty clear in some of the responses you've given. But when did you really start writing? And where did that take you, especially in college, I guess?
Yeah, that was always there, I think. Like, tried to write books when I was like in 5th grade. Like, but like, you write like a page and you're like, my dragon novel. And then, I was like writing off and on. I would say I like started really seriously trying to write when I was like 17. Yeah, I mean, literature had always been around. My mom was like kind of like a crystal mom. So she had a lot of like kind of druggy novel, like Steppenwolf that got like taken up by the hippies and like like the electric light acid test, stuff like that. And so I majored in creative writing. I knew I wanted to write books, just because it was just how I sort of maybe understood and processed the world, was through like reading and writing, and like to a degree music too. So I think that like there's something about like the precision of the written word in terms of like replicating experience that is really meaningful to me. So yeah, I majored in creative writing. I got an MFA, wrote a book coming out. I was just sort of always like, I'm actually in this sort of weird point with it where it's like, okay, finally I'm getting a book published.
Yeah.
Now what do I do? Like, that was like my only goal. Like, so now it's sort of like, I guess I keep doing it. I don't know.
Because I mean, we had in the intro, I'd seen the sites you had written for, and I think we just decided to put the ones that ended with review for kicks. Just like, what is that kind of process going between and then pitching or getting to work in those outlets? And what did you really think like you got to see yourself specialize or hone in on? Just curious to know that.
Like the process of like getting into these magazines?
Also just in terms of finding your voice.
Oh yeah. I'm a very like emotional and socially obsessive person, I'd say. So like my fiction is like very inward and like psychological, because you can be like, why did he say that? But for like 10 pages, let's pick a novel. I just find it like it's just like the thing that it's my way of being in the world, I guess. And in terms of developing a voice, It's like hard to say. I think for a long time I felt like everything I wrote was really different, and that question sort of stressed me out. Now I think there are some similarities, but I think that is less it's just like writing a lot and then kind of maybe looking at what's in common and then like finding a way to describe that. But
Yeah.
like you only really have to do that for like a grants application or something. Like in terms of the actual art making, it's just, just like making a really like, like concretized spirit in the world, perfect piece of art, I think, or not perfect, but like, meaningful in some way.
Yeah. One, because I'd seen one of the posts you had done, the plan, or what was that, the plane, and I found that to be really interesting because it focused on Minecraft from a very different perspective. And I had grown up playing video games or kind of tiptoeing around stuff like that during that time, but really harrowing stuff. It's like, where do you kind of, again, did you play any video games like that? I was wondering.
Oh yeah, I was a massive gamer. Like really just like hours and hours, like World of Warcraft. I was like,
sick, dude.
like I had like a raid schedule in high school, like
my brother did for a period. Yeah.
It was like gnarly. I don't know if it was good for me. I did a lot of writing through those. I did like role play servers a lot growing up. That was sort of like I've always been very social, but I had this period where I didn't have a lot of friends as a kid. But I actually was just like very online and like had a lot of online friends. And then, so that Minecraft story was sort of based on an experience I had in middle school, trying to like fuse those worlds and like having it go like horribly, because like your online friends are all like on 4chan. And then like you're just bringing some like normal kid into this, like
that literally I had that with a friend playing Halo with an Xbox Live mic, and he was not cool enough for them.
Yeah.
And he was heartbroken by that and went up and cried, and I felt so bad, but that's what happens with like those online groups. People could not understand it. So seeing that played out in this, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, totally.
Realistic.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with kind of fusing any groups, right? Like even if it's not online, it's like, like your work friends and like your music friends. It's like, oh God, are we gonna get along?
Yeah, for sure. It's always a major stressor doing that. Anyways, Maddie.
I guess going back to, because you talked about what do you do after you put out a book. Well, you also had put out this really good cassette. And I guess going back to some of the tape making stuff, your first tape, let me see the name, Silvopasture, which you had done on, it was Cloud Recordings. Where does that connection to Cloud Recordings and Olivia Tremor Control come from?
Yeah, just Georgia shit, yeah, I just like had met John through like, John's like one of these old heads, kind of like the, I think the Animal Collective people are kind of around in Baltimore. Like John's just like around in Athens. I think he might have seen Lightful Duo, that ambient project play.
Okay, sick.
And I actually, how that happened, I took it down because it's like unmastered and like really tinny. But I put out this 4-song EP called Agroforest in like 2019, and John had really he saw it on Facebook and was just like really liked it. And then like a year later, he was like, I still listen to it all the time.
Oh,
and then I was like, well, if I do another one, like, do you want me to send it to Cloud? And he was like, absolutely. So that's kind of how that happened. Something about the ambient music I make really appeals to the old heads. I don't know.
That's kind of sick though, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Is that something that you had expected in kind of making that stuff? Like, really, do you find, because when you perform this, is it again just like a crowd of like older guys with their beards or long hair, just like they're coming with their back pain and they're being healed and soothed?
I haven't played that many live shows with it. I've played like 5. I'm gonna play a couple in September. The first one I played with my friend Mason, who's actually going to be at the show at the Living Gallery. It was like a morning drone show in Atlanta. So it was like 6 a.m.
That's kind of sick, actually. Yeah, that's cool.
It was beautiful. And then I didn't play one until I did a Silvopasture release with my friend Ruby on like modular synth. And then I played like 3 of these kind of maybe in preparation for this tape in January. Um, but what's the first part of the question? Is it like when you perform it, is it just old heads? Yeah. So no, it's just been DIY people so far. Yeah, but yeah, it's like it's not like really music that I had ever. There have been times when I've described it to people as like purely a recording project.
I could see that.
People,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if people want me to play shows, I'll try. You know.
Yeah.
So, oh no, Thomas, where are you gonna go?
No, go ahead.
With kind of again taking it as a recording project, do you turn to just kind of making cuts like this just abstractly, just kind of jamming off and making doodles, or with this recording did you just know like this is going to be a cut as soon as you started capturing field recordings or something?
I would say yeah, closer to the second one. I think that a lot of people who make similar types of music, they'll just like sit there and like drown on a guitar for 3 hours and then be like, okay, like where's the song? I'm much more like, I think like looking for like a tone or like some sort of melodic movement. Like in the third song, Life Near Others, the kind of wow. So
Yeah.
like thinking of it maybe sort of with like a pop music framework, even though it is drone stuff. And I've always wanted the songs to be short and not like long. Although, I think the next one, maybe I'll try some longer stuff. I don't know. Just to like shake it up. We'll see. I like the idea of like pop drone. I mean, like to bring us back to like Gas, like all the compact pop ambient releases.
Pop ambient stuff. Did you go through all of those comps? I found like one or two at the library and some of them are better than others.
Yeah. I think 2001, it's really good. I listen to that one all the time. The white and red cover, I think it is. But then, also like, the Frippanino stuff, for instance, it's very like, it's very melodic. It's basically like trying to like fit some sort of like, pop melody and structure onto like drone music. Yeah.
And I mean, again, looking at some of the Geographic North stuff, it reminded me of Denia's Vaz in terms of it is short, but like Thomas and I have both been listening to it repeatedly. And I know somebody they commented on your other tape, like, I've listened to this 30 plus times. Like, these are really inviting pieces that like I haven't felt that much of like a want to play back in a while.
Wow, thank you so much.
I don't know, maybe the concision is really where it's at, but it is super inviting stuff. Yeah. And curious, like what kind of guitar do you use for that? And then is there anything about, I don't know, like that ambient pedal that you had talked about, how that guy works?
Yeah. I've tried to do it because I usually play this semi-hollow for Tomato Flower that I got when I was like 16, and I just like never got a different guitar. It's just like, this is my guitar. But it's a lot, like it can be a bit unwieldy. So I got this like $60 Strat off Craigslist. That is what I use to record this stuff mostly.
That's sick.
I think I have some of those songs. There's a mixture. It's mostly direct in. But there's some amp stuff on. Like I think Grasshopper Heaven is a good amount of like actually like stuff played through an amp, but like it's always like kind of fucking with the chain. I have it like beneath me right now because I've been practicing this set. Right now it's distortion, then a volume pedal, then a wah, then a ring mod, which I usually use for pitch shifting, but sometimes like textural stuff. Then like a line 6 delay that I mostly use as like a looper. And then a freeze and then a reverb. But I always like, you can really mix that up for like, there's obviously no like ordained like pedal order rule for this kind of music. So.
Yeah.
So you like running it through a laptop after all the pedals and stuff still, or how is that?
Yeah, it's just direct like from the reverb like into my interface into the DAW.
Oh, okay, sick.
And then like sometimes further affected in the computer. But yeah, I think the challenge is like just like reining in the tone and like it's like you can never really like replicate the exact same sound, obviously, dealing with this many like pedals. So it's just sort of like if I'm like recording something and I don't get it, I'll have to leave everything set up or something. Yeah. And Clarice Jensen has also released on Geographic North.
Yeah.
And she has like 3 freeze pedals on her pedal board. It's pretty sick. I've been thinking of getting more because I think that like in terms of like if you were actually trying to recreate how this music sounds in a live setting without using a laptop, like that's how you would have to do it.
With freeze pedals?
Like, it's like, oh God. It's like, it's not a looper. You're like catching me. Like, so I should have a smart answer for this. But
it's the process. We're just going through it. Yeah.
It captures like the tiny, there's some word, synthesis word, but it captures this tiny little fragment of the sound. So like, how if you're trying to loop like a drone piece, you can hear the dun, 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 kind of as it goes back to the beginning. Like that doesn't happen. It's just like capturing like somehow just like holding on to the sound. I really wish
like granular synthesis type stuff.
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right. Like I really should know this. But what else is it?
Who makes the pedal? Is it like
it's Electroharmonics.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like a latch, which is like you keep it, and then there's like slow where it kind of like slowly fades off, and then like a fast decay. But yeah, I mean, I think that everyone I've seen making any of like this kind of music live has like at least one of them. I think they're kind of standard. Yeah.
When did you get to see Clarice Jensen there? And then who are some of your other favorite people you've gotten to see live?
I have not actually seen her live. I think I was just like, I think I saw a picture of her pedal board on the internet or something.
Sick.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Who have I gotten to see do this kind of stuff live? I've seen Jeffrey Into the Desmo live.
Whoa.
That's sick.
That was great. Yeah, he played with Grouper.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, that's sick.
I have like some friends do this kind of stuff like in Baltimore and in New York, but most of it has been like online stuff, honestly, like watching like Yellow Swans and like Axolotl. There's this band Rosie Parlane.
Oh, nice.
It's this guy really from New Zealand who like maybe like the second track on the album sounds most like him. Sort of like, like drone with like kind of like ASMR like rocks like right on your brain and like some like wah stuff. But yeah, it's been like a very private forum in that way. Like I don't like go to a lot of most of my show energy is put into like Tomato Flower, like rock stuff. I think.
Rock shows and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that like maybe the beauty for me of this kind of music is that it is so private, kind of more like a novel. Like it's like the ideal, I think, form for me of listening to it is like taking a cassette on a walk and like having some emotions or like thoughts, It's like in that way, like maybe like counter to the sort of like glamour or like I don't know, like there's a way in which like rock music sometimes it's like okay, you're at a party and like everyone's sexy and you're drinking beer, and it can be a little bit, which is fun, obviously, but then there's like a different maybe sort of purity for like I feel like in ambient music, like nobody knows what each other looks like, and like half the press photos are like they're in the woods, you can't see their face.
That's true.
Like, yeah.
There's no I mean, no one on Geographic North, you don't get the photo of the band with them.
Yeah, totally.
That was never the purpose. And even with like Geographic North, because of what they emphasize in the architecture to like how a tape looks and the track listing and the titles of these tracks, there's a lot going on there. And again, I'm curious, like, how would you kind of assume somebody's like taking those? And then also, which of them is your favorite? I don't know that you got to.
Which track or which track title?
Title and track as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think like in like ambient and post-rock music, there's so much that goes into the title, right? Because it's like just like these long because you have to really frame it.
Even for the Godspeed stuff, Godspeed has a new album today, and we got a lot of words.
Yeah, right? Exactly. No, it's always like that. A lot of that, like Grasshopper Heaven was the name of the just the file on my computer, and I was like, this is a dumb name, I'm gonna change it. And then when I was just like, I can't, this is the name. I don't know. I named them all pretty quick. I'm always like holding on to bits of language for like poetry stuff or like I had a long list of stuff for a reading when I was trying to name my reading series. But it's like Meadow of Tears comes from an Adelaide Non poem. How Heavy the Slow World comes from a Robert Creeley poem. Some of them are lines from the book. I wanted them to be like evocative, like kind of psychedelic. A lot of them are very meaningful to me. I think An Angel's Emerald Wing is pretty maybe my favorite track title. It's very
it's super new agey, but the track is it's a lot more, but the psychedelic angle is really true to this.
Totally. Yeah.
And I can't think of a Geographic North release that's been this psychedelic in a second. So
yeah. How what?
Or no, I'm saying, yeah, I like that.
Oh stuff. Yeah. The psych, it's just inescapable for me.
Even with Tomato Flower, where again, there's a lot of songs. There's a lot of directions, but a lot of them kind of come back to a psych energy there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're all like, interested in sort of like the like history and form of like psychedelic music, I think. And then like, I don't know, I could go into this more, but I got in trouble last time I talked about that much in an interview. So sorry. Yeah, that's very much there. I think that I wanted this album to sound in some ways like having a very emotional conversation with a friend on like half a gram of shrooms, like in the dead of night or something.
Yeah.
That's some great stuff.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I mean, I guess kind of just some final stuff regarding the gear or other music. Any gear that you kind of are dreaming of one day besides the different freeze pedals, or any stuff that you kind of thrifted or that you wanted to shout out there?
And there's like other techniques I guess we haven't talked about. There's some tape loops and stuff on it.
Oh hell yeah.
Pre-Agricultural Summer has like some like slowed down reversed glass breaking samples. That's kind of the like stabby, like kind of jewel sounding stuff.
That's cool.
There's like real and synthesized bugs. So like some of it is field recordings, but then some of it is like guitars kind of mimicking like those sorts of chirps.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So I like the like kind of like synthetic natural like blend, both in Tomato Flower and in this. But like the like kind of like main like on Pre-Agricultural Summer was, I was actually like, oh, I should like try to like do this on a guitar. And so I was recording it like on my laptop, just like with my mouth, like not into a mic, but like in like just using the internal mic from my computer. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna like do that on guitar later. And then I ended up just like, that's like my mouth making those sounds. That's like and like not recorded well. And like maybe like now you can listen and like hear how shittily it's actually recorded. But like it worked out in the end.
That's chill.
Yeah. I think the next thing I want to make something that sounds like Rainbow Dome music by Steve Hillage. So like maybe like some arpeggios and like
that'd be sick.
Like some like glissando, like guitar solos or something. But like also like keeping in line with like some of the like distorted out shoegazy guitar stuff, like trying to fuse those sounds or something. Maybe.
Have you started experimenting with that type of stuff at all, or is it kind of just like this?
Yeah. No, I've been recording a little bit of that stuff. Being up here, I think there's talks of maybe doing another thing with Geographic North. So.
Oh hell yeah, dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Awesome.
And then there's anything that can happen in New York City.
Yeah.
Dude, you see that there's a Cranky show happening in New York soon.
No, when?
Dude, it's like all like the sick Cranky
Brian's
people.
gonna be there as Leech, and Wendy and Carl are playing.
I just went to Maddie.
They also have released on Geographic North.
They have.
Wait, Wendy and Carl have?
Yeah, like it's one of their very first releases.
And Leech.
Wendy and Carl, and also like A Sunny Day in Glasgow, like some of the early Geographic North releases. It's like, how did you get these bands?
Yeah,
I've asked them about that, and they were just pals. They knew him as friends, at least with Sunny Day in Glasgow. I still wonder what happened to those guys. I love those albums they did.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And I still believe one day they'll just like be like, hey, we have a new album, and it'll still be as mind blowing as ever.
Totally.
Just like no, it's like with the Locket Punt stuff. I asked them about that briefly, and they're just like, if he ever wants to, we'll just put something out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I guess that show, it's in November 7th through 10th, 2024. It's like Nisi Blues. Who else do we got on here? Oh, Strategy is playing, which is like really sick. Pure Link, Low End Activist, all the cranky people. You gotta go.
Yeah, that'll be sick. All right, 7 to 10. I mean, who knows? Like, what'll?
Yeah, that's true. I guess like
you know, who knows? But yeah, no, I'll put it on my calendar. I mean,
yeah,
I'm definitely burning myself out here. You know, like it's I need to like take it easy in a way.
You gotta take it easy. Throw on some ambient music. Take some shrooms and maybe write some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, just that's what it's gonna be.
take some time to yourself. You know. Anyway, I guess where can people keep up with all things Austyn?
Oh, I thought you said working people keep up with.
Oh, sorry.
Like, command.
And you're
I was like, anyway. Yeah, I guess I have an Instagram. I'll probably put a website together soon with like the writing stuff and the music stuff all together somewhere. And yeah, there.
Cool, tight. Sure. Yeah. Well, if you're interested in Austyn's music, be sure to check out her Instagram and potentially a website that will be thrown together soon. I guess we have one more question. Do you want me to take it, Maddie, or do you want to take it?
I can take this one. I think I got it.
For sure.
Oh, let's just say, Austyn, you're on a dog walk. You got the 6 dogs. You're the defender, and all of a sudden, out of the trees comes little rat. All the dogs are like, oh my god, and the rat's gonna jump in your mouth, head first or butt first, and why?
Oh god, a rat, like a full-size rat.
It's a white lab rat. He's very well trained. He really apologizes for the situation, the ordeal.
Maddie always likes to make
he's
it. He's not
a New York rat. He's not a.
He's a clean rat. Do I have to eat it?
No, you choose your own destiny here.
I think head first. Cause like, yeah, I mean, I don't want any rat ass. I don't know. I think that, yeah, I think head first. It could like a little kiss or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like
it feels like it could be sweeter in the end that way.
Yeah, exactly. And then who knows? Maybe
that's how you got to play it out. You've diffused the tension.
Yeah, exactly.
You've made a new friend. You got a new pal. He's always going to be on your side.
He's on my 7th leash.
Yeah, on the 7th leash. That's so good.
That's one of the more peaceful answers we've gotten.
That was actually a really good answer. Ends up on the 7th leash. Like, I love that. That goes in like one of the top for the show, I think.
Wow. So you ask everyone this question.
Oh yeah. It's a great way to like get to know a person.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning into TBD on KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's been Austyn Wohlers out of New York. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.